What's going on, Susan? This is Tim Long here. I came up with this idea because I wanted to put together a short video for you and the family of everyone's quick little memory of Skip. So I'm going to go ahead and go with mine. When I met Skip at his birthday party, when everyone came, I had wanted to spend more time with him, and obviously everyone was here and everyone else wanted to spend time with him, so I never got a lot of one-on-one time with him. But the memory that sticks out for me is on our last day here, we were sitting at a restaurant in downtown Sarasota. It was like a Mexican fish food up on the top level, and I'm sitting talking to one of the people who had come, and all of a sudden someone starts massaging my shoulders. And I thought it was Jacqueline because Jacqueline does that. So I just keep talking, and all of a sudden I start noticing people around me are giving me eyes, and like their jaws are dropping and they're pointing, and they're like, what's going on? And I go and turn my head, and Skip is there giving me like this incredible massage, and we sit there and talk. And it was only about a 2-minute conversation, but it was one of the most impactful times I got to have, and I would hope that he felt the same. It was just a real quick moment of connection, and it really stood out for me. So wanted to share that with you, and we love you and hope that this time is amazing for you, and we wanted to share our memories with you.
Hey, it's Jacqueline Long, and I want to share one of my favorite memories of Skip. It was summer of 2014, and it was an advanced leadership session. And that session and summer to this day is probably one of my favorite summers and action-packed, memory-packed summers. But one thing in particular that stood out was when we went on Lake Michigan on a yacht. He took everybody out on the yacht and said to all of us, talking about the power of a dream, and he said, there's a lot of places in the world that I could be right now, and the place that I want to be is here with you. And he said it with the twinkle in his eye and the genuine, choke back that he would get when he was really authentic and exactly what he was saying. And it was, there's no denying that was his dream, and that it was us kids who he wanted to be with. And that made a huge difference in my life, and the impact and the importance of living your dream, and what his was and how impactful it was for me.
Hey Ross family, it's CJ Hewer. One of my favorite memories that I have with Skip, I believe it was my first year LTing. It was a debrief after the first session, and Skip was asking us, how we thought we did, where we could improve. And I didn't notice it all, but apparently all my answers talked about, the things I thought I could do better or was worried about going into session 2. And he, after a couple answers, he responded, and in the most simply sort of profound and wise way, the way Skip always talked, he basically just called out the amount of worry I was expressing, the amount of times I said worry, and it was a simple reminder of the power of our words, of our frame of mind, who we want to be and how we want to be. And it was such a simple thing, but it instilled this confidence in me moving into the second session and into the later years of being an LT. And it's something I still catch myself every once in a while doing. And I go back to that moment more frequently than I ever thought I would, and I'll just always be thankful for his kindness, his wisdom, his guidance, and the words he taught. And I know I'm a better man because of my experiences with him and the people I've met through Circle A, and I'm very thankful for his strength of character to pursue the dream he had of Circle A and the legacy he's left.
Hi there, I'm Brianna Meadows. I was a camper and a leadership team for Circle A for quite some time. And I'm going to keep this really quick and easy so I don't get too emotional. But I think my most favorite memory of Skip was his giggle, because anytime that he giggled, whether it was funny or not, it made me giggle, and then he would probably giggle because I was giggling, and then it would just spiral from there. So that was my favorite memory.
Hey, Nick Palomaki here. Just want to say, to all the Ross family and, how appreciative we are that we could be here with you guys for Skip's celebration of life. And just obviously he couldn't have been more special to us. Both Sham and I came to Christ at Circle A because of Skip's influence. We met there. He married us. I mean, there couldn't have been a stronger non-family influence in our lives. And we can't ever thank all of you enough for buying into that dream and that vision and helping Skip to carry it forward. And he just gave us the chance, the opportunity of a lifetime, literally in eternity, to know who Jesus is, to know how to live a better life, and we couldn't be more grateful for it. We'll miss a ton of things about him. Kind of wish we would have seen you guys a little bit more since our time at camp, but so glad that we reconnected in the last few years. We are eternally grateful for your whole family and for Skip, and we love you.
Good morning, Ross family. My name is Shawan, and also known as Laura. I am so grateful for everything you do. When I think about a favorite memory with Skip, one moment came to mind that's the summer my dad first passed away, and I was struggling with the sudden of it, but I still decided to come to camp to be an LT. And I remember one time during lunch, I was missing my dad so much, went into the bathroom to have the ugliest cry of my life. And when I came out, everybody has moved on to field games and the afternoon activity, but Skip was sitting there, and I think he was waiting for me, and I remember kneeling down next to him, and I don't remember what he said to me at all. All I remember was just my blurry eye looking at the greens, and his voice, and the feeling of being valued and being cared for. And I think from that moment on, my goal was to bring that same feeling to the people around me and make the world better than I found. And I'm grateful to have that moment and to bring that to other people.
Hey Ross family, Jeremy Beber, camper from 03 to 2010, and then a LT from 2011 all the way until now, 2021, with virtual Circle A. Oftentimes I tell people outside of my parents that the biggest influence that I had on my life was Skip and what Circle A embodied, and I truly believe that. There's so many lessons that we learned throughout camp and then continued to learn as a LT that are just countless and irreplaceable. It's tough to be sitting here right now and thinking back on all the good times, but there's a very, very many good times that we had at the camp in North Carolina and also Colorado. One of my favorite memories, I would say, is the last year at the ranch in Michigan. We had, I think, quite a bit of rain that year, and I remember it was with Session 2 during the canoe trip. We had 3 or 4 LTs on that trip, I believe, and I had to report back to Skip every single time that we went down the trip. We had an LT flip their canoe. And with the stories that he told on the times in the Muskegon River, he took it very seriously. And I think Tim Little flipped his canoe. I think Sean flipped his canoe. Another time, I think on the following trip. And then the next day, I believe Devin was with us as well. He flipped his canoe. And on the very last trip, I told Skip that everything's going to be fine. We're not going to have any more. We're going to be okay. And there was this particular bend that everyone was getting caught up on with a downed tree across it. So in order to make sure that this was not going to be a situation for a fourth time, I positioned my canoe in such a way that everyone had to go to the right of me. Well, by doing that, the current pulled me into the exact same spot that everyone else had gotten caught up on, and I was also flipped. So reporting that back to Skip, the following dinner time was a very interesting conversation. He had his famous giggle, and it was a little humbling because I had never flipped a canoe until that day and still have not. So the other thing that just embodies everything that Skip was about are the personal one-on-one conversations that I've had with him. And I think to this day I still don't realize how fortunate I am to have had that one-on-one time with him. And I know I'm blessed, and I think that's going to be something that means more and more to me every year I get older. And I just hope that when I can grow up, I can try to share what I learned from Skip with my kids. And I love you guys. Thank you.
Hey Ross family, Todd Starkey, camper 1986 through 88, and counselor before LT, I think was the title, from 90, 91, 92, 93. So it's hard to really put into words what Circle A has meant to me and what Skip has meant in my life. The most pivotal moment in my life came at the age of 15 on Sunday morning when Skip gave the invitation and I accepted Christ into my heart, and was in a really difficult place at that time. I think you know that. And my life did a 180, and my whole perspective changed, and the course of my life was and my eternity was changed forever. I have facial hair now, and I remember Skip always saying that he didn't like us having facial hair because it affected our ability to communicate. I remember talking with I think he had Rusty and Nick and I and maybe another counselor, and just the stories of the memories that just keep coming back. But in my coaching career, I feel like I literally find myself saying something that I heard or learned or witnessed from Skip almost daily. The key foundational word for every basketball program that I coached is the word balance. And we really try and focus on the word balance in teaching these young men and women. I started on the men's side, but coaching college-age females, talking to them about balance in their lives and filters that they use. But thank you so much. And I don't know how to say anything more than I love you and thank you for all that you've done.
Hi Susan, Stephen, Melody, Chris, Jenny, and all the Ross family. Just super appreciate for the impact that you guys have all made in my life, and Skip, what he did in my life. And so just want to share a couple memories with you of what I remember from my experience as an LT and at Circle A and with Skip. So there was this one time when it was my first year as an LT, and we had all the different tables, and it was the fancy dress-up dinner night, and I was the only LT at my table. This is my first year, and I remember that we had the order, but then there was music going, and I got telling one of my stories to the campers, got distracted, and I forgot where we were at in the order, and I started looking around, and I thought maybe it was our turn, so I got up, led everybody around, brought them all to the chuck wagon, and as soon as we got to the chuck wagon, the music stopped. A microphone came on, and I heard "Thank you for your attention," and everybody just looks towards Skip, and Skip says, "Somebody went out of order." I was like, oh man, it's very obvious who went out of order. And so we kind of, make the walk of shame, go back to our table, all take a seat, wait for our turn. And I'm thinking to myself, I am never going to do that again. Dessert comes around. I get talking, I get telling one of my stories, get distracted, I forget where we're at in the order. Susan comes out because she was serving in the kitchen and there was a lull, no one was going up to get their dessert, and she comes, taps on the table and goes, "I think it's your turn." And so I like look around. I have no idea where I'm at in the order. So I'm like, okay. And so I get up, walk to the back, lead everybody to the chuck wagon. As soon as we get there, without fail, the music stops, microphone comes on, and I hear Skip go, "Thank you for your attention." Someone went out of order, and at that moment, everybody, all the kids, all the LTs, all just laughed, and they knew that we did it twice in one meal, and all the laughter was coming towards me. So I like leaped out of the way, avoided it, and pointed at Susan and said, "It was her, she did it." And what's funny about this story is that day in seminar, Skip had just told them about the lesson of I am responsible, and now they're seeing an LT go, "She did it," and blaming someone else. And so anyways, for me it was just a story about how we need to learn to be responsible even if we miss the order. So anyways, great time with the meals.
Hey, Tim here. Hi Ross family, hi Susan. Just wanted to share one of my favorite memories from Skip, and just one of the ways that he impacted me most. I was thinking today, right before the memorial service, about some conversations that we had, and I always found myself in tears in some of those conversations, and I never understood why those tears came to mind, and I would always kind of laugh through them, and Skip would giggle, his little tiny giggle that you all know so well, and as I was reflecting before the service, I just realized one of the reasons why the emotions came out in that was just because I was looking into the face of somebody who loved me very deeply, and I was confronted with that in such a powerful way, and it's beautiful to come to that realization. So just so blessed to know Skip, so blessed to be impacted by him, by your entire family. So thank you so much, and I love you guys.
Hi Susan and Melody and Chris and Stephen and Jenny and the whole family. Bridget Hughes here. I was asked to give a favorite memory, and honestly, I don't know if I have one favorite memory. I can tell you my favorite summers in my life were spent at Circle A and being a part of your family, and Skip, you were my dad, and Susan, you were my mom, and I learned so much from you. I learned obviously all about dynamic living, but I also really watched you, Susan, as far as how to be a wife in a married couple, and that just, it meant so much to me to sort of watch you over the years, and especially as I got older and moved into that phase of my life. So you mean the world to me. I wouldn't give anything for those times at Circle A. It's all one big happy memory. So I just want to say thank you. Thank you for your presence in our life. Thank you for everything that you've done. Thank you for your ministry, and thank you for being you. And I love you.
I'm Mike Cook. So it's hard to just pick one or two stories. And if you ever ask, ever need it, I'm more than happy to recount everything every time I remember. But just lots of fun ones, like us eating pizza at JMO's, and this really hot pizza, and all of us sweating, but no one saying anything until Skip's finally like, "Come on guys, you know this is a really hot pizza." Or another one for me is him driving me to go take my LSAT test, and like putting on classical music to try and get me ready, and just going and taking me and just trying to keep me calm, and just, it was just a wonderful experience, and all that he put into it. And there's just so many things to name, and so many wonderful things of like playing golf with Chris and Stephen, and Chris and me, primarily me, hitting golf balls all over the place, and him just going, I didn't bring enough golf balls. I didn't bring enough balls for this team. Like, and just things he would say, or the way he would set up a joke, or even talking about campers, or how he would do an expression, or just so many wonderful wonderful things, and just so many times of saying I love you and hugging and even just sitting in this office here now, and I can hear him constantly about things, or how would he do things, or so like lots of wonderful memories, and just miss him so much. But like I said, anytime I will recount every story that I can for you. Love you guys.
Hi, everybody. My name's Andrew. I'm just going to share a few memories about Skip. One thing that, there's so many, but one thing that sticks out to me is his wisdom. I remember as a camper and as an LT, I could go up to him for anything. And it was one of those things where I would go up to him and I'd ask him a question about my life, and he would just give me some little tidbit of information, some wisdom. And then I would take that home and I'd probably just digest it that entire year. And it would just kind of like, that advice would just keep coming back to me throughout that whole year. His wisdom really inspired me just to continue to be wise and to read Proverbs, because that's where he said he got his wisdom from, was just reading Proverbs. So that's just one of the very many great qualities that Skip had.
Hey Ross family, this is Emily. So going to Circle A as a camper had a big impact on my early years, and just everything I've learned at Circle A and through the Dynamic Living Seminar has had a huge impact on my life. One story in particular, which is one of my favorites, is learning about the process of visualization and setting very measurable, specific goals. And I remember in high school, I was a swimmer and sectionals were coming up, and I set a very specific goal for the 100 breaststroke, which was my favorite event. And I did visualization exercises. I wrote it on my hand. I had it on my swim locker. I pasted it everywhere. And when I came in to the final lap, touched the pad, and looked up at the time scoreboard, it was the exact time that I wrote down, down to the 100th of the second. And that's when I was like, wow, this stuff really works. So that's one of my favorite memories of implementing Skip's teachings. But yeah, huge impact on my life, and every day I actually get a reminder on my phone at 11 a.m. and it says dynamic, positive, and happy, and it's my daily dose of Skip, and I've been doing that for years, and it's just even more special now. All right, thank you.
Hey everyone, Skip, Susan, Stephen, Melody, Jenny, and Chris, and the entire family. It's Devin. Skip was a very interesting part of my life. Helped fill the gaps of the parts we didn't understand. You guys have become really close through it all. There's many times where I can remember a different part of our experiences together, and now looking back and be like, man, that's so cool how that changed. It's actually quite interesting now to see you guys with your own families and just growing in that direction. And so in this moment where Skip's gone, at least in a better place, one of my favorite memories was actually everything he's ever done for me. He's been there in times that I don't know. He's been there for other people. I'm sure he has, from what I've heard. But in college, like, we talked at camp, we talked. And so just building that bond with someone like Skip is actually very profound to me, that I even had that experience. And the legacy of being someone who can now interact with other people to give that experience back was something I never really thought was going to be a part of my life. And so I think everything that you guys have done for me and my family, really, with my brother and my sister, which is everything to me. So thank you for just being that kind of a person for my family, and I appreciate that.
of you know, it's a little bit different feeling being on this side of it. And there's a part of me that wants to say a lot. There's another part of me that says if you try, you're going to get about 5 words out and it's going to all be over. But I find it difficult to even begin to express my appreciation for your being here. I sent a text to my brother yesterday. He asked how last night went, and I said it was an incredibly wonderful experience. The kind of experience that I think every person in the depths of their heart dreams about.
Yeah.
But very few ever get to experience. So I thank you for that. I'm blessed.